Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Pruned Tree Podcast. I am Rebel Ray, your hostess with the Moses. I'm so glad that you guys were able to join me with this fabulous guest I got sitting right here next to me on this fine couch. We are coming live from a studio near you in Stockton, California. No, let me plug my boy. Shout out to Maddie and Eric. We're here at Huddle Live doing this podcast. And listen, this podcast is about growth. It's about social determinants of the self. How do we grow as a person? How do we grow as a community? And we're doing a lot of highlights with community members that are in Stockton, in San Joaquin, and in our greater regional area. So for further ado, right, I want to introduce you because you're just sitting here. We're not going to just bypass you, queen, right? Mafae Yunon-Belasco joins us. Shh, heart it up. Listen, clap it up. She's so cute with it. Now, I don't know if it was a girl crush, but the first time I saw Mafae, I said, be still my heart. The swag is impeccable. The class, the elegance, the way she carries herself, and how beautiful she is, and her warm spirit. I am so glad that you're here. And we're going to be hearing from her. She is known worldwide, as you saw in the slideshow. Right before we came on, Miss Mafae has been around the world. Now, before, you know what? Listen. And Mafae said, how we going to do this segment? And you got to whine out. I said, I'm a good church lady. I said it. We're drinking wine today, and we're chilling like girlfriends. But I have my church lady announcements coming up. We have a lot of, community things that are happening in the community. Our mental health wellness hike was awesome. Awesome. We're so happy. About 100 people came out from the 209, came together and said, look, this is something new. We had newcomers. And
amazing.
And I remember one lady, she was like, community hike. I had to figure out what this was about. Mm-hmm. I only did hiking with myself, and people are searching out for that social interaction. It's important, Tarm, as well.
It is.
It's important.
And being in touch with nature.
You hear that accent? We're going to get to that accent in a minute. All right. So the first church lady community announcements. Now, I don't have my church lady lap, so we want to thank Lakeisha Little Shaw with Shaw for Community and Shaw Bar. She was the one that actually went and did the hike. We supported to help with transitioning people to get up there. People who have never been out of the urban area into the wilderness came. Those that were really expert hikes were there, so we love it. So the Reinvent South Stockton Coalition's Black Birth Equity Initiative is throwing baby showers. Woo, woo, woo. We're throwing community baby showers. So it says, join us for a community baby shower at Big Mama's house. That's the thing. What you know about Big Mama's house?
Love it.
Do y'all have abuelitas? What y'all call y'all grandmothers?
Lola.
What's
Lolas? The Manangs.
The Manas. Okay. So it's sponsored by Health Plan of San Joaquin. This first baby shower is one of 4 series of baby showers where we're going to be hosting for the community, bringing awareness to community health workers, and also bringing awareness to holistic birthing practices. We're knowing that our mothers are dying in this county. And so a part of the strategy is to host wellness groups and connectedness to resources. We're also going to be handling a CHW resource fair and also recruitment fair. So learn about prenatal wellness, baby wearing, lactation basics, doula support, safe sleep, postpartum self-care, and more. You can register on our web pages, on the social media landing pages for Reinvent South Stockton Coalition. Listen, we're going to have prizes. We're going to have food. We're going to have games. And so please, if you want to learn more about becoming a CHW, please let us know. Now, let me tell you about the grand prize. You want to know about this grand prize?
What is it?
The grand prize, 3 individuals at each baby shower for a total of 12 will be awarded a photo shoot.
Oh, wow.
Can you believe that? Of your choice, of what you want to wear for your baby shoot. If you're expecting or you just gave birth to your baby and you're breastfeeding, we want to highlight you. If you're having a home birth, or if you want to have your photographer do a wellness, is it Lamaze? Yeah, Lamaze exercises, and you want to put that on film, we want to capture those type of those events. They're very special milestones, and it's modeling for other mothers when we're talking about birthing justice. And I just want to give a shout out to our partners: San Joaquin Community Foundation, Black Women for Wellness, Public Health Services, Black Infant Health, the People's Empowerment Center, Dignity Health, Reach. Our partners, RSSC, Flourishing Families, the Perinatal Equity Initiative, Amelia and Adams Whole Life Center, CC the Doula, Next Level, Natural Support, and Huddle Co-Workspace. All right, y'all, go ahead and heart it up, heart it up, heart it up. We love the movement. Now, listen, I have a lot more announcements, but I'm going to get to my guests because I'm anxious to hear about my guests. Mafae.
Yes.
First of all, tell the people how we met, because it was divine intervention. It was that quiet, still spirit that you have, the class that you have, and the elegance.
Well, thank you.
And tell me how tall you are.
I'm 5'9".
So
you're still taller.
Right, I'm still taller, and I'm like 6'1" with shoes. So when I saw Mafae, because I'm me, the basketball tomboy. When I saw Mafae, I said, "Oh my God, I don't know who this queen is, but my heart." Right, elegant. The way she floats across the floor, I said, she has some special training. She's a ninja. She's something. I said, the way she floated, she's somebody's fairy godmother. Who is she? I need to know this queen. Got to talking with her, and she's very gently. She was like, "Yeah, I did a little modeling, and I did a little," and I'm like, she being modest for what? I found out that this woman was Miss Philippines. Y'all better stop playing with me. Come on now. Miss Philippines. That's big.
Goodness.
Tell me a little bit about yourself, because this podcast is really about how the interesting people, how we connect, how we grow, the process of growth. Tell us what brought you here in this moment, like sitting on my couch.
Right.
I'm so blessed.
No, we're both blessed.
Yeah.
I learned that from one of my mentors, Kimi Lu, that you are at the right place at the right time with the right people. And speaking on connections, again, shout out to our fellow amazing, inspiring friend who owns this beautiful building, Maddie. Amen, for introducing us. Just having a conversation with Maddie, especially in the huddle, I meet so many beautiful souls, just like you. So with that being said, being at the right place at the right time, and, just giving you a backstory, I was born in the Philippines and left the Philippines when I was 6 years old. My parents decided to migrate to Sydney, Australia, because I had an aunt and uncle who was already there. And my mom, just being the strong woman and wanted to, the best for her family. And so did my dad. Felt like she had more of a strength to take risks. And so she encouraged my dad, hey, we're going to leave our comfort zone and look beyond us and think about our children and the future. So I'm so grateful for my parents for taking that risk, because not only was it courageous of them, I know how scared they were. Fast forward, I'm with my amazing husband, but we'll get there.
We're going to get
here. And moving to Scotland, but moving to Australia, I didn't realize that they give up so much just to be able to foresee the future and opportunities for the family. My parents. And so when I first got there, I experienced reality.
So let me tell you, you are so just with your words. You're so trauma informed with your words, girl. But I want you to tell it like it is. Yeah. Tell it like it is. Tell the story, because a lot of people don't know what it means to be an implant in another country, to have the energy. And I loved how you put it with how you spoke of your mother and father as they worked together. Always. You said she had a little bit more what?
Courage.
Courage. And sometimes
Women
you need
do, right? I mean,
yeah.
Now being a mother, I see how we have to.
We have to.
We have to.
Thank you.
So my first ever experience of being judged by a book, that saying, judged by a book by its cover, was when my first day of school, my parents, I guess Filipino parents, what they do with girls, they cut their hair short to make it thicker. So I really look like a boy, like as in short, like shorter than yours.
Mm-hmm.
And so the uniform lady gave my mom a boy's uniform.
Wow.
I walked in the classroom and our neighbor was just like tugging on my mom, like, why is Mafae wearing shorts and a button-up shirt? And she's like,
she didn't know.
That's what the uniform lady gave us.
Yes.
And my mom stormed. I mean, that's my first, again, witness of seeing my mom so
you got misgendered. That was your first time getting misgendered.
And so fast forward.
You were a tall girl.
Going to Australia.
Yeah.
Again, I was taken advantage. I guess just being a new girl, being different. Of course, I was darker, I was Asian, I hardly spoke. And probably at that time, I didn't even speak much English, right? So I had a girl really physically bully me, pinch me, punch me to the side, and I thought that was normal. But I would go home crying and hiding.
Girl, let me tell you if you was from where Nick is from.
I didn't know fast forward that I would be blessed with a bodyguard, right? But I saw my mom again protect me, and her maternal instinct, strength. It was, God showed it to me.
Yes.
So when my mom finally found me in the corner of the house, she was like, "What is wrong with you?" And I was scared.
No.
I was scared to share because I thought I would get in trouble. Little did I know that if I had the courage to share that, being uncomfortable by a situation, you're actually saving yourself and others. So when my mom found out, she confronted the girl stopped. And then from that point, I was very protective of my little brother.
Okay.
Which led me to, I guess, being very protective over my family.
That's right.
But as far as Aussies goes, that's why I love being able to experience growing up in Australia. People are very outgoing. I mean, I think you're experiencing it with me.
Yes.
We can become best friends in 2 seconds.
Interesting.
People are not judgmental. I guess they don't they'll see you as well. Let's get to know each other. Without any hidden agendas.
Okay.
I'm not saying other cultures like that, but I'm just saying I loved
the culture,
the upbringing that I had.
Okay.
And the experience I had in Australia.
And
I feel
overall, even though you were bullied for looking differently.
Right. Growing up and then, finding my close friends and then even the family bond, because my aunt, who was already in Australia, made sure we had family bonding, outings, going out of town all the time.
Interesting.
And that's why even living in Australia, I felt the Filipino values.
Okay.
Because they spoke to us, especially my parents, in Tagalog. So I understood the language.
Yes.
I just gained the Australian accent, so sometimes it had a twang.
I love it. And when I heard you, I was like, "Ooh, she look expensive, and she sound expensive. Where you from? Australia?" I said, "Oh my God, they got beauty like that in Australia. That's crazy."
Everybody, I also learned to accept different cultures in Australia because we were just so diverse.
Interesting.
I had best friends from South Africa, had best friends from Mauritius. I don't know if you know where that's it.
Those micro,
right?
Yeah, those. They have the micro Asian islands down by that way too. That connects. Is it Guam is on the other side, but there's Palau.
Right.
What's the other one? Because I had a girlfriend from Palau.
Right.
And shout out Rhoda. Rhoda was telling me just even about the Philippines and Palau and everyone that is connected in those small islands. It's wonderful.
Yes.
So I'm trying to figure out exactly what's happening with how we even see the world. So
I felt like I was traveling when I was in Australia.
I thought it was hecka cute though, how Moses went across this TV screen thinking that he wasn't on the screen. I love it. And you better keep it. I tell people we're doing this live and we have to adjust But I'm so glad my backstage family members are not ugly.
It's so funny.
They are so beautiful. You made some beautiful babies
Thank
and family
you.
members.
Shout out to hubby.
Come
I couldn't do it
on.
without him.
You couldn't do it without him. Oh, so guide us to
Mhm.
now where you at. How did you get into being like Miss Philippines?
Right.
Because that the pageant world
Mm.
by itself is a whole podcast.
Yes. Well, it wasn't part of my bucket list.
Okay.
My aunt, who is my mom's youngest sister, the second eldest in her family, actually represented the Philippines in 1984 as Miss Universe Philippines and won, fourth runner-up. But it was never in my bucket list to follow her footsteps.
Really?
No.
Ordained.
You
You're going to understand the assignment.
I went with my grandparents to drop her off at the airport, actually.
Wow.
I was like 2 years old or something like that.
And you just didn't know in that one instant.
I didn't know it was part of my destiny. But fast forward, just like you, I was an athlete. I love sports.
Yes.
I played tennis for almost 20 years.
Wow.
I loved the sun. I didn't care,
Yes.
if I had a tan or if I had acne or anything like that. But my parents were so involved with the Filipino community
Okay.
in Australia
Yes.
that they supported the Philippines by creating events, creating community,
Yes.
leadership and youth programs.
That's right.
That my dad even, introduced me to my mentors that I still have today. Ate Carla, hello. I appreciate her. She's an older sister of mine that's been very supportive through my life journey.
Yes.
And I honestly am grateful for my dad and my mom for introducing me to having older mentors.
Interesting.
Because it's tough, right? When you have, like at school, we feel as though one friend is actually mature than the rest of us, but really we're all the same age.
Yes.
So
I was always that one friend trying to be somebody's mama. Shout out to my Montezuma friends, my Hamilton friends, some of my Franklin friends, and my Stag State friends. But they were always trying to say, you're trying to be somebody's mama.
But that's the thing.
But I was the oldest sister. I
Right.
took on that role.
Right.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, if you really think about it, we're all kind of like in the same,
Yeah.
we're still trying to figure out life.
Yes.
So having that experience, and then, I knew my dad was supporting candidates to represent their province, because every year there's a Filipino fiesta that happens. And all the Filipinos all over Australia will come to Sydney. And we'll just spend a huge party.
Wow.
And that was a lot. So imagine there was like 12 different provinces or organizations that would represent or sponsor a girl.
Ashe.
And so
That's dope.
that was my thing.
Yeah.
But
that's dope.
my uncle,
how y'all came together.
Yeah, my uncle had his 50th birthday, and I just got dressed up a little bit. And all the titas, all the aunties saw me walking. Oh, who's this tall girl? They cornered my dad.
You know it.
And my dad is like a strict Filipino Catholic dad.
Traditional dad.
So when they cornered him, he had no choice but to be like,
that maternal energy. Woo.
He's like, Mafae, the titas and the organization would like to sponsor you to be the next candidate.
Let's go.
I'm just like, I'm listening. And the only thing they had to say, you'll be helping a lot of fellow Filipinos.
Yes.
And giving back if you do this.
Wow.
That's a no-brainer for me.
That's a no-brainer. That's how they reeled you in.
So that's how it started. And so my aunt who represented, she flew to Sydney.
Wow.
She was able to speak to her fellow friends who are designers.
Mm-hmm.
She was able to bring some gowns for me.
Come on,
She gave me some tips. And I just had fun. Like fine to win, but I didn't expect to win.
Destiny.
And
Destiny.
My dad helped me, supported me with the Q&A. He was really into it because hey, that's also his org.
He's like,
So when
I'm going to support my daughter, I'm going to go all the way.
Yeah. So when I was able to experience that, and then I won the crown, they flew me to the Philippines.
Yes.
And that's where it really, it nailed my purpose.
Wow.
When I donated the funds that we raised, visited orphanages, home for the elders. Imagine your grandma, grandpa being
Look at all this
abandoned.
great. Look at where your wine cup at. Let's cheers. Wait, did you leave your wine cup over there? We need to cheers to that. Yeah. Like, come on. So, philanthropist at a young age. What age were you
I was like
when you
18,
dedicated that money?
18. I won 17. I went to the Philippines 18. I was ready to tell my mom, hey, can we adopt this grandma and this baby? And she's like, that's not how it works. But but you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. And so that's
girl, you are amazing. Your
it was tough. It was a tough decision to make, you know. I said to myself right there and there, if I'm wearing a sash and a crown and I get to speak to decision makers, leaders that I can help,
yes,
and raise more funds, do more activities to give back, I'm going to do that.
Come on, let's go.
You know, and so I made it a point, hey, I want to try the bigger crown and join Miss Philippines or whatever like that. And my mom was like, okay, finish your studies first.
Ooh.
Finish college first.
Wait, okay.
And then you can do whatever you like.
Oh, okay.
So we did a mini contract.
Okay.
Finish college, save money, and represent the Philippines. That was the three things. And my mom and I signed it.
Yeah. What Mafae did was she visualized and created what she wanted to see first. She found what was in her heart. She saw it and she went after it. But you made a plan.
Yeah.
And the plan, you made it very clear, very precise. Yeah. And then you followed steps to get there. Yeah. I tell people how powerful, this is the therapist hat coming on. I tell people all the time how powerful it is to visualize.
Yes.
Your manifestation.
Because I want to inspire women.
Yes.
That don't settle.
Okay.
You know, at that moment I was young and I thought that was it. But really, there's so much more for you.
So much more. For the self.
Yes.
And not just what we want in a spouse.
And just not settle for something that you're very uncomfortable with.
Ooh, speak on it, queen.
You know,
speak on.
Well, you have to have older mentors to really guide you. I mean, at that time, my mom, again, going back to my mom, she helped me out in that one.
Okay.
She really put her foot down and made sure that enough is enough.
Okay.
And she told him, like, hey, if you care and love for Mafae, stop talking to her.
You better stop talking to her. Stop. You better respect my daughter. Every time you see her, turn the other way. Now.
At that time, of course, I didn't agree with my mom. Because I was in love.
But you was in love.
I didn't know what love meant. We don't know what love means.
And some, if I can go back to my younger self, I would scream, whisper in the air, run now.
Right? But that's the thing.
Run from that one.
I think that's the reason why we're in a position to be very vocal. Because we went through it already.
Yes.
You know?
And I really don't care. Because I'm going to tell you, when you go through something and you make it up in your mind that you are not going to take it no more, you don't care how it's packaged, what it brings. Enough is enough. You have to value yourself more.
Where we had to learn and grow with what we had.
Yeah.
Right now, it's easy. Like even, being in the pageant world, it's so easy to connect. It's so easy to just call your makeup artist and say, hey, does this look good? I didn't even know. Like, and that's my honest, I guess reveal my secrets. I didn't really know how to put makeup on when I represented the Philippines.
You are so, listen, you are so clean and PG. You know the things I think about in pageant wars? I think about all the mean girl stuff. So tell me, it's true, really. So tell me the mean girl stuff, because it seemed like whenever there's a bunch of women in one room,
right? So it's true that some candidates will sabotage. They'll steal a shoe. They'll cut your gown.
Stop it.
Yeah, it's real.
Do petty stuff like that, girl. Do you ever get kicked out for that type of decorum?
Now there's a lot of cameras, but back then, it's harder to do that now because there's just too many people around. What I was taught, my training was to always lock up your things. When you leave the hotel room, lock it up.
Because people steal. Huh?
So my gown and a lot of my clothes didn't get creased. It was intentional that way. Yeah. So that I can always lock it up.
Wow, that's amazing. So that was one survival tactic. Because imagine just surviving the cattiness. Like the competitiveness is there, right? So in any competitive market, there's always some type of vibe of that going on. So what did you do to like fundraise? Because a lot of these pageants are like charitable. They go back to you run to bring an awareness to something. Right. So what were some of like the awareness that people ran for? What really stuck out most to you about pageant life?
Well, right now, advocacies are big. Like you really have to live and breathe whatever you're saying. Supporting. Yeah. When I joined, it was a lot about the youth and abandoned kids, especially with
Oh.
Binibini, which is Binibini Pilipinas means Miss Philippines. Followed by Stella Araneta, who was a former Miss International from
Oh.
Colombia. She
Oh.
married George Araneta from
Okay.
the Philippines, who is very known in the business world, and the arena that they own is where Muhammad Ali fought.
Oh my.
Yeah. So
That's
Araneta
beautiful.
Coliseum, right next to it, they built a mall called Ali Mall
Ali
because
Mall.
to
From
just
from
commemorate
yeah,
the time.
commemorate.
Yeah.
So it's actually named out of Muhammad Ali?
Ali Mall. Yeah.
Because I knew he spent a lot of times in the Philippines.
Yes. And so in that same arena where I won Miss Philippines, the banner of Muhammad Ali
That is so
up there.
dope.
So it's just a lot of
You
history.
gotta go back and take a picture
Right.
underneath
Yeah.
that.
I think I have a few. And then
That's dope.
what's crazy
That's
about the arena
nice.
is that that's where Nick played a lot of his basketball games. So
Yes,
for
yes.
us, it really means a lot because before I left to represent Miss World, I actually slept and lived in that arena because there's
Okay.
rooms where a lot of the
Yes.
beauty queens would train and stay
Wow.
and kind of like.
So what does
camp.
training look like? Because when I think about the training
Right.
that goes into it, I think about Miss Congeniality.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite movies because hey, you take
Super
this
love it.
beautiful, quirky girl. She doesn't know
Mhm.
she's beautiful.
Mhm.
Storyline. She's the main protagonist. You gotta work the tomboy out of her. So I really saw that and resonated with that. But
Mhm.
her trainer was the most funniest thing. And I forgot, I think his name was Nigel or something.
Yeah.
Are trainers really like that?
Yes.
Are
I
they
mean,
finicky about like
Miss Congeniality? Of course, it was exaggerated,
okay,
but it can be that grueling,
interesting.
and it's really up to the girl to
The hair and
Yeah,
the flattering and the
yeah.
waxing and
Mhm.
girl.
Because not only you're inspiration to others, you need to be respected. So for you to be wanting to be on stage or in front of the camera, you need to be ready. Not only
That's some heaviness right there.
well, not only are you representing your family, you're representing the good of the world, the universe, the international.
So okay,
it's
so
like-
handle this heavy conversation I'm
Yeah.
about to hand to you, and then we're gonna go to your husband because we got some people backstage.
Okay.
Do you want to get into this before we bring in the people backstage, or you want to? Because this is a heavy
Oh.
conversation.
Well, up to you.
Okay,
You're the
let's
host.
handle it. Let's try to handle it and come back if we build on it.
Okay.
A lot of feminist values
Mhm.
do not support pageantry.
Mhm.
How do you now, who you are now, we're
Right.
going to get into that.
Yeah.
You've been a super advocate. You are now in front of our community
Yes.
as the executive director and president of the Filipino American
National Historical Society.
Yep, I didn't want to mess it up. National Historical Society.
Yes.
And being out front
Mhm.
and understanding that brand, understanding what you're uplifting, the history of your
Yes.
ancestors,
Yes.
that comes with a heaviness.
Mhm.
So how do you deal with the rebuttal that pageantry is over processed, patriarchal values of
Mhm.
parading woman?
Mhm.
What do you say to that?
Well, there's a good, and there's also the better good
Okay.
of answering that. For me, the way that I mentor, especially young people, because it's not only women,
Yes.
there's also young men that join pageants for, Mr. Philippines or Mr. World
Oh.
or something like that. I always encourage them to understand their history,
Asha.
understand their purpose, their why.
Asha.
Because if it's for the fame and fortune, please don't even think about it.
Okay.
Because you need to be authentic and genuine enough for people to listen to you.
Okay.
It's not just about the beauty.
It's
on
not
the
just about the
outside.
beauty.
You need to be able to talk.
Okay.
You need to be able to answer these tough questions
Yes.
right here.
Yes.
Because how are people going to partner?
Right.
How are people going to invest in what you want to do
Right.
if you don't walk the talk?
That's right.
And that's why I always share that you have to have the whole package and be ready for people not to like you.
Ooh. Uh-oh.
Because that's the number one
Uh-oh.
thing. If you cannot face that, then you still have to build your core.
Well.
Your inner core.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
You dropping gems.
No, because at the end of the day, I know I don't make a lot of people happy, or they don't agree with what I say or what I believe.
Okay.
But I focus on the people that support me,
Okay.
that understand what my vision and mission is.
That's where that family
Yes.
understanding
The
and
family
the
value
family
is
unit.
number one.
Okay.
Your peers, of course, are there to support you too, but you always have to go back, like with fans, talk stories with the elders.
Okay.
For me, it's the beauty queens before me. And my aunt, like, I asked questions, how did you do it? Because it was harder for them.
Yes.
It was harder for Gloria Diaz to win Miss Philippines back when she won it.
In the 70s. Probably.
She was the first Filipina
70s, 60s.
among, not a lot of diverse candidates.
Yes.
So for
our
me,
trailblazers.
Right. So for me, it's about that. Know your history, understand your why.
Yes.
And is it for the good of your family? Is it good for the youth?
Yes.
I always praise on Michael Jackson's songs because I love the fact that he talks about mental health. He talks about children being the future. And that has to be the core values. So that's what inspired people.
Yes.
So for you to have that voice, for you to have that platform, you just got to be ready.
You got to be ready.
You got to be ready for anything. And for me, like,
we're going to get ready, Mafae.
You're always ready. That's why we gravitate to each other. I believe on, your vibe attracts your tribe.
A shake. Ooh. Hello, somebody. You give me a hand five on that, baby. Your vibe attracts your tribe. You better find your tribe, baby. That means you got to hold on to the self. You got to know yourself. You got to love yourself. Understand even the changes that you're going, because you can attract a wrong tribal member.
Yeah.
I've had to kick a couple of my tribal members out of my tribe because I had to adjust myself.
But that's you being a leader for yourself.
Okay.
Understanding your boundaries. Because not everybody's going to be happy with what you do.
Okay.
When you go through the tough times and the people that stick with you during the tough times, hey, that's your, what do you call that? That's your lifers. Those are the people that whether good or bad, they're going to be there.
So I always have my clients, my guests, when they come on the Pruned Tree, if they were to be, and I always use the tree because we're always looking at that parable of the tree and how it works in its ecosystem. Who are those people for you on the tree? When you say those lifers, who are what part of the tree would they be?
Oh yeah, the crown of it all is my grandparents, my parents, of course, extended now to my in-laws, mom and dad.
So you're talking about how the branches even grow and connect and expand.
Yeah.
So who are your roots? Where do you contribute your roots to?
Oh shoot, it's them as well. I'm in the middle and they surround me.
Interesting.
And within the core, it's like a protection.
It's protection.
Right?
That's how
now
you
my
see
kids
your tree.
come in.
Ashe.
I'm also one of my friends actually introduced this title. Instead of a stepmom, I'm a bonus mom.
Yes, a bonus mom.
And
it's the way you talk about yourself.
I hold that really close to my heart because, again, just being from a Catholic home, from just upbringing of my parents, is that's not normal in the Catholic home. Having, of course, separation, divorce, and things like that, having stepkids, but hey, this is what God's plan was, and it's beautiful.
It is beautiful. And we accept it. And if it's God's plan, y'all need to go and have a seat and make sure you're not in front of God's plan.
Right.
The things that we know about in life, the things that we see, the stories we hear, and whether or not we're going to uplift them is truly a part of who we are as a people and how we build community.
Exactly.
So tell me about this beloved. So you told me about how you married your beloved and you finally found him.
So, funny story. Like I said, I manifested him, right? When I was younger, I loved to cut out pictures, whether it be people or a laptop or a car. I
visualized,
and then I was reading through magazines and newspaper, and I just started cutting out. One of them was like a Toshiba laptop. Another was like that's precise.
Yes.
It was a Audi A4.
Yes.
And then I think there was a BMW Z4 or something like that. And then it was twins. Shaved head.
Interesting.
Hawaiian surfers.
Interesting.
That looked like they were Islander, Hawaiian, something like that, right? I put that in my diary. I was just like, yeah, manifest this. Let's see.
You manifested. You
Fast
manifested.
forward, when I met Nick, I was like, oh, he looks like that.
He looks like that picture.
And then it turns out, like, oh, man, he's a giant, so maybe that's two of him. The two guys was him.
So tell us about
I'm
Nick.
just like, oh my gosh.
Tell us about Nick.
So-
Where is he hail from?
Right. So he is third generation from Stockton, but his great grandparents actually traveled from the Philippines on a boat to Hawaii and then to Stockton Port.
Wow.
So
if that is not native Stocktonian
so
pilgrimage to the land, come on now.
So his great grandmother was pregnant with his grandfather.
Wow.
And gave birth as soon as they docked.
Wow.
Yeah, and so
as soon as she touched down, she's like American.
You are 209.
You are 209. You have been ordained.
So
wow.
When I met him, I didn't know anything about Stockton, but he was very proud. I learned about even the area code 209 from him. Stockton's this, Stockton's that. He was so proud of it. And, we had other fellow friends who were Philams, and they were like, you're from Stockton? And for me, I've never been, so I don't know the reputation and things like that. But he was, hey, I'm proud. I'm loud and proud.
That's right.
So one or two others, I think, also had a career in the Philippines. And he was like, yeah, Stockton, 209, all this stuff. But how we met, during the time I moved to the Philippines, it was a very small group of Phil foreigners. So we all kind of gravitated with each other because we are still, in the borderline of speaking Tagalog, and we wanted to speak English, and no one else, was really accepting.
Yes.
They would say this term nosebleed if they spoke to us because we're English speakers.
Wow.
It's a term, but it's funny. But then at the same time, it's like, okay, never mind. Let me talk to somebody else. And we had the same journey. Taking the risk of leaving our comfort zone,
of course,
and then moving to the Philippines to pursue a career or, just a future of what we were passionate about.
Of course. And I think about why we have our sister cities, our sister cities from Stockton and the Philippines. What are they? I forgot who they were.
I forgot also.
So I think they have a sister city over there. I think it's Little Manila, but they fly the flags. They fly the flags here in the Delta. And we actually have a sister city there. One of the very things that I wanted to talk about, and we have Nick backstage. Come on, Nick, beloved. You better get on. Look, come on. Hey, Nick. Oh.
Hey, RC, and
Nick,
the love of my life.
Beautiful woman you met. What was it? It was in love at first sight, or what was it? Was you thinking about what I need to tell her to reel her in?
Well, first of all, when I first met Mafae, I heard that she was from Australia, and man, I didn't know Filipinos were in Australia. I had no idea. I thought they just had dirt roads and kangaroos, stuff like that. I didn't know there was Filipinos. I mean,
that's something Stockton people would say.
Exactly. And so, Australia has a place in Sydney that's just like Daly City. It's just all Filipinos. It's called Blacktown, Parramatta, and that's where she's from. And well, she must be rich. She's from Australia. She must be rich. So, somebody that was down to earth and stuff like that. So on our first date, we hung out, and we just had a couple of drinks from 7-Eleven, talk.
I love it. I love it. So you were playing ball, Nick. So you were playing ball. And tell me about that.
I was ball at that time, and she was the queen, pageantry world and modeling and things like that. And I started learning more about her, that she used to cook dinner for her mom and dad and her little brother every night. She was a college graduate. She was, she did all the stuff at the house for the family. She washed all the clothes and ironed all the clothes and stuff like that.
You was like, keep her. She know how to do everything, and she look good. Okay.
Yeah, they go to church. They're really family oriented in the Philippine community. Her dad's a leader in the community there, and her mom. And so that's where I started getting more intrigued. Like I didn't care about beauty queen stuff and all the fame and stuff like that. The more I learned about her, the more I started getting interested, and we just hung out, and it all took off from there. Next thing you know, we got married. We were blessed to have our first son 19 days after we got married. So, and he's the one that just got he's almost my height.
Yeah.
And when we got married, I had my two boys, Nico and Mike, us there in the Philippines, and it was like she kind of married the three of us, and she did something that I never expected or never even would have asked her to do. She took on the role of being another figure for them, for my two oldest boys.
Yes.
And that's one thing that I'm super grateful for. Never would have even asked her to do that. And in the Philippines, Manila is a small place, so people talk and they don't know my family situation with my first marriage, or they don't know what we went through, what I went through, and how things developed. So there's a lot of intrigues. It's just like Los Angeles or Hollywood. Everyone's going to talk. So I pretty much had to stand up to the whole country because I was a celebrity as well, and I had to stand up to the media. I had to stand up to my teammates and my teammates' wives and even my own family. And I fought for our love and our relationship, and we built something beautiful.
Yes. Ashe, look at you. And everything is not always the fairy tale. You have to fight for something. You have to fight for love. And you guys complement each other. I see how you encourage her. She encourages you. But for her to just be reared in a wholesome, beautiful, loving family, with being educated, and she's pretty on top of that, brother, you winning. You winning, brother. You're listen, America's Most Wanted right here. And you got her at the house having yo babies. You the man. I ain't even gonna lie to you, Nick. You the man. Just
she's a workhorse. I've learned so much from her about how to manifest and use positive words. And I mean, if you say negative words, those things really do come true. And it's happened to me in my life. I said in my life that, as a pro basketball player, you don't get to play very long because your body doesn't last that long at that level. So I played 20 years, but the last 7 years of my career, I was pretty depressed. Okay. Like, shoot, I'm getting old and I need to find a career. Yeah. And how am I going to support my family once basketball is done? Like, I'm going to go broke. I'm going to lose my money, and I'm not going to be able to find a job. And I would just dwell on that. And that's exactly what happened. So, I learned from her that, hey, you got to switch your mindset, think only positive thoughts. And, when me and her hit rock bottom, people don't really know that we went through all that after my basketball career. We were really chasing careers and chasing how to make money. And the only time our lives changed was when we started helping other people. So I built a basketball program. I started helping guys get drafted to the pro league through my program. I was teaching youth, and then she started helping girls get into the pageantry world, and she started volunteering, and we really started volunteering our time. And that's when I got hired into my management job. And the faucet turned on, and it was just gushing with opportunity.
So going back to those original gifts and callings and your destiny, looking it in the face, owning it, but also being in alignment with someone that you choose to spend the rest of your life with. That's hard. Y'all need to teach a Sunday school lesson, a Bible lesson, go up there to the courthouse, go down to the school. Y'all need to teach a lesson on just how to be together and support one another. That's amazing, Nick.
Well, we made all the mistakes you could possibly make, and we learned from all of that. And that's what we preach to young couples or young families is like, hey, you have to submit to each other. If you're going to keep it's going to be a lot of fights.
You said the S word.
And you guys submit, and that's something we both kind of learned to do for each other. And when I got into conflicts, and I got into some fights here and there, I mean, my wife was the first one to jump onto the court and chase
That's
guys
what I'm talking about.
on the basketball
Mafae
court
with the business. You better stop
on
playing
national
with me. There.
TV.
She looked pretty. Oh,
You know, if I got in a fight
okay.
in the club, she was the first. She was the one
That's
wilding
right.
out,
I love you,
protecting me. And
Mafae.
so yeah,
Like,
we've gone.
now stop telling our business, honey. That's our business.
And I took Stockton with me around the world, and she can explain all how I did it, and some of it hurt me, and I had to learn how to break out of that Stockton mentality of wanting to fight everybody.
Oh,
and
yeah, that's what we was taught on the South Side.
That's what we were taught, South.
I had to learn too. I was like, I need to stop fighting out here. Because you get older and it comes with liability, and then people don't see your brilliance. They just see you as an aggressive bully person or whatever. I really want to appreciate you for coming on and supporting your wife, first of all, uplifting your wife. I love how you said, we got to submit to each other. Woo! When you
we learned that late. We learned that real late, and we went through some crazy battles through the streets of Manila before we finally sat down and were like, I think we learned it in church, and they were talking about it in church, and we looked at each other. And I looked at her and I said, "You gotta learn how to submit."
Wow, I love it. It gives me hope. It gives me hope because I'm the rebel, and I'm learning that in my later age too. How do I submit? And submit comes with trust. Yeah. You gotta really trust your partner, right? Mm-hmm. And it takes really some time, and you gotta give up some things too.
Yeah.
Well, real quick too, before I go, Mafae, she learned how to submit, and I also learned how to submit on my end. But during the pandemic, when we were locked in our condominium in Manila, I locked them in there for 6 months. I didn't let anyone out of the condo, and I would go down and do my job and come back. And she started her podcast, and I got so upset with her In Love with Me podcast because she had graphics. She had my other son doing what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
And I would have to come home from lunch and take around the apartment. And I was like, man, this time, like, why do you keep doing it? Kids have schoolwork to do. You're wasting time. Like,
internet.
I think what he's trying to say that it really grew to inspiring others.
And inspired others.
It helped also the business because I connected with so many people around the world. During that time, and then the kids also grew.
Yeah, because we were stuck on the inside. We needed hope. We needed to hear inspiration, and you did not let anything rain on your sunshine.
No.
You were the sunshine.
I wanted to uplift everybody during that time because it was tough.
It was tough.
So regardless, we were all in the same boat, so we had to be a bigger voice for everyone.
Yes.
Obviously, I was not a frontliner in the medical field.
Yes.
So I had to find a way to also support.
Yes. And socially engage is important.
Yeah.
Especially for mental health and connectedness. Yeah. It was people who couldn't do the isolation. They didn't make it. Just solely on the isolation, the suicidal thoughts and the ideation that we saw from even stars that passed away and died in COVID.
So many. And just having conversations.
Yes.
It helped me too. Because it was tough. Like, oh my gosh. I mean, although my kids were homeschooled, so they weren't challenged with that. But it was nice to keep going with my skills of speaking, keep going with, their passions in graphics and directing and things like that.
Yes.
The whole family was involved, even the baby. I had him as an outro.
Come on.
Come on. Laugh and everything.
I love it.
You just have to be creative.
You got to be creative.
Because time is so precious.
It's precious. And that resonates with me, especially when we're thinking about the time that we spent in COVID. I don't take any day for granted.
Exactly.
I am putting my feet to the ground. We're making it happen for our family. I want you to know how much it meant to me that you came on the podcast. And I just want to make sure we don't have any more anyone else backstage. We got one more, okay? One more backstage, and I want to make sure we get everyone. And who is this coming on?
What? Ember.
Hi.
Hello.
It's Ember.
Okay, so November, you must tell us who you are to Mafae.
Mafae is one of my oldest and dearest friends and my biggest cheerleader. And I think she's everyone's biggest cheerleader.
Yes, she certainly is mine.
Yes, and I was over here listening when her husband Nick was speaking, and I was nodding my head like, "Yep, yep, everything they're saying is
Yeah.
true." We used to call them Bonnie and Clyde. I don't know if I ever
Oh
told you
my God.
guys,
Oh my
but
gosh.
Y'all
we
was
were
tearing
Bonnie
down
and
Little
Clyde.
Manila. You better stop playing. Okay.
Yeah, she is the most authentic, true friend that I've ever had, and this girl, this woman, when she loves hard, and she
Yes.
does not let go.
Yes.
Yeah,
You know it. You know it,
I know.
Emma.
We
Yeah.
need that. We need that. And November is your real name.
Yes,
Yes,
is.
it is.
How majestic. Why November?
I was born in November.
And so your mother just gave you the name?
Yes, but I do have an older sister. She has 5 different names, so I think she got tired.
Emma is a beautiful Sagittarius.
I love
woman
it.
right there. I love her so much. So
I love
she's
it.
a sister.
And if you had anything that you would uplift and tell people about Mafae, because again, this is about the process and the pruning. Could you share just a little story
Oh my gosh.
before you go
Oh my gosh.
that really inspired you about Mafae's journey?
Oh, yes. And it's a story. I know you don't know this, Mafe, but it's a story I tell a lot of people that I feel like need to be inspired. So Nick did mention at some point when they had to kind of start over back in Manila. And I remember when they first started their basketball training camps,
Yeah.
they would Mafe, Nick, and her children would carry the equipment. They would walk to this place and set up, and it's hot out there.
Yeah.
It is humid. And they walked all this equipment to the basketball training facility, and I just saw them work together,
Yes.
work solid as a unit.
Mm.
And from there, like Nick said, the faucet just turned on and all the blessings just started gushing out. But yeah, and I'm so inspired, and I always tell people, oh, that girl Mafe, she homeschooled her kids. And how many kids does she have? She has a bunch. So and she did it all wonderful. They're all smart, they're loving, they're respectful. They remind me of their mother, and I am super proud of her for that. Her and Nick are really solid.
Ashay. Thank you, Queen, for
Emma,
coming.
what are you
Oh my
making me cry
God,
right
for
now?
coming on and just sharing that. I appreciate you so much. We need to hear how you generate uh, avenues and pathways to greatness. That's what this is about. Thank you, November.
Thanks, Emma. Love you.
Thanks. I love you.
Oh my
Talk to you
God.
later.
So Nick, I think we had lost him. And oh, you crying. It's emotional.
That was a moment in our life that I think I made a promise because my kids were so happy during that time. We lived in like probably a room like this,
Yes.
all of us.
Mm.
And I said to myself, and I also tell Nick that we're not going to live in a place like this
Ashay.
ever again. We have to put our head down, work hard, network, utilize our talents, and just do good for the world, like what we were doing separately,
Mm.
and we just have to get back to God. It's His plan, and we wanted to make sure the faith was strong for our kids, and it was all for their future.
Mm.
And when we focused on that, oh my gosh, we had another baby and then another baby.
I was like, Nick, think this woman fly.
Oh
You got
my
how many kids,
gosh.
Mafae, that you birthed, and how many
4.
bonus?
So I had
bonus
4.
four, and then
no,
2
4
bonus.
physically and
Yes.
6 emotionally. So
6
two,
emotionally.
my
I love
2
it.
amazing young men
Yes.
that I love and adore and would do anything
Yes.
for. I mean, all of them.
I love it. I love it. You inspire me too.
Thank you.
And I have my story, and then we'll end with that. So it took me a while to really get the support and help that I needed for my dreams and my goals, and pushing my books, my affirmations, my brand with the Pruned Tree Podcast.
Yes.
And I was juggling a lot, and I took on the new job as ED, and I had put this thing down, the Pruned Tree Podcast. I had started it. I was trying to figure out the camera setup and all this. I prayed one day. I manifested you. I prayed and I said, Lord, I need some help. Send me somebody. I don't even know what I'm supposed to be paying, but send me and let me have the budget. And I remember Mafae coming to me very gently, because I couldn't hear it. You know how sometimes you try to juggle everything. There's stress.
Mhm.
There's, you're trying to do the work life, mom, boss, spouse, and it's a juggle sometimes. And your visions, your goals, your dreams, they get shuffled into that. I mean,
Mhm.
especially going into your 40s, your body changes. You don't have a lot of energy like you want to. But I knew God had gave me this dream about the prune tree.
Yes.
And here comes Mafae, elegant. Now she floated to the couch. Floated, sat down, very prime posture, A-frame. Sat like a beauty queen. And I'm looking like, hey, Mafae. She said, now, are you ready? She had asked me about, hey, I'm going to be your manager. I said, okay. I didn't even know what that intuned. But let me tell you how blessings flow. When you listen to the heed, the call, the help that is presented to you, it may not look like what you think it is.
Yes, agreed.
I said, Mafae look expensive. I don't want to have Nick. That's your woman. She look expensive. Walk around here. I said, what type of money, God, do I got to keep this going?
Oh my gosh.
Do you know Mafae understood the assignment, met me where I was at. We were able to work out a plan, got the whole crew on, not only instilling the work ethic into the family, building the legacy of the actual Mafae management brand, but this is an overall world leader, first of all, working on my management team. This is my manager. I didn't know how to act. I was like, God, when I asked for something, I didn't think you was sending me another queen. It takes another queen sometime to adjust your crown. You can't let everybody adjust your crown.
Yeah.
So I want to tell you personally, right now, thank you.
What's happening? I love you.
I love you.
It's just the beginning.
It's the beginning because name this day. What's today?
May 21st.
May 21st, 2024.
Yes.
What are we manifesting together? Because, honey, you got some good
A
juju.
lot.
All kind
A
of good
lot.
magic and blessings.
We are going to produce workshops.
Okay.
We're going to produce this amazing production.
Yes. Get amazing people.
Yes.
I have senators coming. I have
Mhm.
different individuals within our state community, our national community
Yeah.
that really love the podcast. They love what we're doing.
Yeah.
They love the earthiness, the vibe that we're bringing. And I told her, I said, I feel like a Tiny's vibe, but I want to be my quirky self. I want to be just Rebel Ray.
Right.
And I want to be able to tell the stories and connect to the people in a very good way.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate you, Queen. Thank you so
I
much
appreciate
for
you.
seeing me. You have joined the Pruned Tree Podcast. My guest was Mafae Yunon-Belasco, our Miss Philippines. And let me tell you, I have been blessed. I have been centered. I know now I have put my vision in great hands. You have to put it in a manifester, and I appreciate you. I'm Rebel Ray. I love you. I'm the hostess with the mostest. Peace. Bye.
Thank you. Appreciate you. That was fun.